In the summer of 1863, America stood divided, bleeding, and uncertain about its violent future. The American Civil War had already consumed countless lives, resources, and hopes on both sides. Confederate General Robert E. Lee believed bold action could shift momentum toward Southern independence. He planned a daring invasion of the North, carrying war onto Union soil. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia crossed into Pennsylvania seeking supplies, morale, and decisive victory. Union forces under General George Gordon Meade moved urgently to intercept Lee's advancing army. Neither commander initially planned a major battle near the quiet town of Gettysburg. Fate, geography, and chance converged where multiple roads intersected near this rural community. On July 1st, Confederate scouts encountered Union cavalry west of Gettysburg unexpectedly. What began as a small skirmish rapidly escalated as reinforcements rushed toward the fighting. Union cavalry delayed Confederate advances, buying crucial time for infantry to arrive. By afternoon, Confederate forces pushed Union troops through Gettysburg toward higher ground. Union soldiers regrouped defensively along Cemetery Hill, Cemetery Ridge, and Culp's Hill. These elevated positions would prove critical throughout the coming days of battle. Lee believed aggressive assaults could dislodge Union forces before they fully entrenched. The first day ended with heavy casualties, foreshadowing unprecedented bloodshed ahead. On July 2nd, Lee ordered coordinated attacks against both Union flanks. Confederate General James Longstreet reluctantly led assaults on the Union left flank. Fighting erupted at infamous locations including Little Round Top, Devil's Den, and Peach Orchard. Union Colonel Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain defended Little Round Top with extraordinary determination. Outnumbered and low on ammunition, Chamberlain ordered a daring bayonet charge downhill. The charge successfully repelled Confederate forces, saving the Union left from collapse. Simultaneously, fierce fighting occurred on the Union right at Culp's Hill. Union troops eventually held their positions, despite repeated Confederate attacks. The second day produced horrific casualties, littering fields with wounded and dead soldiers. Lee remained convinced one final blow could shatter Union defenses. On July 3rd, Lee planned a massive frontal assault against the Union center. The attack would later be known as Pickett's Charge. Approximately 12,000 Confederate soldiers assembled for the assault. Union artillery bombarded Confederate lines in a thunderous prelude lasting nearly 2 hours. When the cannons fell silent, Confederate infantry advanced across open fields. Union artillery and rifle fire tore devastating gaps through the advancing ranks. Soldiers pressed forward despite overwhelming fire, driven by orders, honor, and desperation. A small group reached the Union lines at a stone wall. This point became known as the high water mark of the Confederacy. Union counterattacks quickly overwhelmed the surviving Confederate attackers. Pickett's charge ended in catastrophic failure for Lee's army. Thousands of Confederate soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured within minutes. Lee accepted responsibility, famously telling survivors the failure was his alone. On July 4th, both armies tended wounded amid rain and silence. Lee began retreating toward Virginia, his invasion of the North decisively broken. The Battle of Gettysburg resulted in approximately 51,000 total casualties. It remains the bloodiest battle ever fought on American soil. Union casualties numbered around 23,000 soldiers. Confederate losses approached 28,000 men, severely weakening Lee's army. The scale of suffering shocked the nation and altered public perception of war. Gettysburg marked a turning point in the American Civil War. Lee would never again launch a major invasion of the North. Union victory boosted Northern morale and strengthened support for the war effort. The defeat undermined Confederate hopes for foreign recognition and assistance. Strategically, the Union gained momentum that would continue through the war. Politically, the victory reinforced President Abraham Lincoln's leadership. The battlefield soon became a site of national mourning and remembrance. Thousands of fallen soldiers were hastily buried in shallow, temporary graves. Efforts began to establish a proper national cemetery at Gettysburg. On November 19, 1863, President Lincoln visited the battlefield. He delivered a brief yet profound speech now known as the Gettysburg Address. Lincoln reframed the war as a struggle for national survival and equality. His words emphasized democracy, sacrifice, and a new birth of freedom. Though modestly received initially, the address became a defining American statement. Gettysburg's legacy extended far beyond military victory or defeat. It symbolized the cost of division and the price of unity. Veterans on both sides carried lifelong physical and emotional scars. Families across America mourned sons, fathers, and brothers lost there. The battle influenced military tactics and leadership decisions thereafter. It demonstrated the devastating power of modern warfare and massed infantry. Gettysburg's terrain has been preserved as a national military park. Monuments mark positions where units fought, bled, and died. Each marker tells a story of courage, fear, and human endurance. Historians continue debating decisions made by commanders on both sides. Lee's choice to attack remains one of history's most analyzed decisions. Meade's defensive strategy is often praised for discipline and restraint. The battle showcased leadership under extreme pressure. Ordinary soldiers displayed extraordinary bravery amid chaos and terror. Gettysburg reminds nations of war's unpredictability and irreversible consequences. It altered the trajectory of the Civil War irrevocably. The Union's path toward eventual victory became clearer after Gettysburg. Confederate resources and morale never fully recovered from the losses. International observers reconsidered the Confederacy's chances after this defeat. The battle's lessons continue influencing military education worldwide. Gettysburg represents the moment the tide visibly turned. It stands as a testament to sacrifice defining national identity. The fields once soaked in blood now serve remembrance and reflection. Each July, reenactments and ceremonies honor those who fought. The battle endures in books, films, and collective memory. Gettysburg is not merely history, it is a warning. It shows the cost when dialogue fails and conflict erupts. The soldiers were young, frightened, and human beyond uniforms. Their stories remind future generations of war's true price. Gettysburg's silence today contrasts sharply with its violent past. The town survived, but America was forever changed. The battle shaped the meaning of the United States. Unity emerged not easily, but through immense sacrifice. Gettysburg stands as the Civil War's defining confrontation. It was the moment America confronted its own survival. The outcome influenced the war's final chapters profoundly. Gettysburg became a symbol of endurance against overwhelming odds. Its lessons remain relevant in modern global conflicts. History remembers Gettysburg as more than a battle. It remembers Gettysburg as a turning point for a nation. Nearly every American community felt the impact of Gettysburg's losses deeply. Letters sent home carried grief, fear, and final goodbyes. Field hospitals overflowed with wounded soldiers awaiting uncertain fates. Surgeons worked relentlessly under horrific conditions to save lives. Many wounded died days later from infection and limited medical knowledge. Civilians of Gettysburg sheltered soldiers and treated the injured. Women played crucial roles as nurses and caregivers during aftermath. Farms and homes became makeshift hospitals and morgues. The town bore scars long after armies departed. Gettysburg demonstrated war's impact beyond the battlefield. Children grew up haunted by memories of gunfire and screams. The battle reshaped how Americans understood patriotism and sacrifice. Veterans' reunions decades later showed reconciliation slowly emerging. Former enemies shook hands across stone walls once fought over. These moments symbolized healing after unimaginable division. Gettysburg's preservation ensures lessons endure for future generations. Visitors walked the same ground where history turned violently. The landscape itself became a silent teacher of consequence. Every hill and ridge holds echoes of past decisions. Gettysburg is studied by soldiers, scholars, and leaders worldwide. Its complexity defies simple narratives of heroism or blame. Courage and error existed on both sides simultaneously. War revealed humanity's capacity for both destruction and resilience. Gettysburg's legacy challenges glorification of armed conflict. It emphasizes the responsibility carried by those who choose war. Leaders' decisions sent thousands into deadly fire. The cost was paid by ordinary men following orders. Gettysburg forces reflection on power, duty, and morality. It reminds nations that victory always carries loss. The battlefield remains sacred ground for remembrance. Flags now wave peacefully where musket smoke once choked air. Silence replaces cannon thunder, yet meaning remains. Gettysburg asks difficult questions without easy answers. It stands as evidence that unity demands sacrifice. The battle shaped the future of American democracy. Without Gettysburg, history may have unfolded differently. The Union's survival was not guaranteed before those days. Gettysburg proved resolve could overcome division. It reinforced belief in a united national purpose. The war continued, but hope grew stronger afterward. Gettysburg's memory influenced Reconstruction and national healing. Its lessons remain relevant during modern political divisions. History warns through Gettysburg's enduring story. The battlefield speaks without words to those who listen. It teaches consequences of choices made under pressure. Gettysburg belongs to all Americans, regardless of side. It honors sacrifice without celebrating bloodshed. The battle reminds humanity of war's irreversible costs. Gettysburg stands as America's defining trial by fire. It shaped identity, purpose, and national resolve permanently. The echoes of Gettysburg still resonate across centuries. Its legacy influences how nations remember conflict. Gettysburg transformed tragedy into lasting national meaning. The battle tested democracy's endurance under extreme strain. Survival demanded courage, unity, and perseverance. Gettysburg revealed the true price of freedom. The fallen soldiers became guardians of national memory. Their sacrifice defined America's path forward. Gettysburg remains a solemn reminder of shared history. It teaches peace through remembrance of war. The battlefield's preservation honors truth over myth. Gettysburg belongs to history, yet speaks to the present. It challenges future generations to choose unity. The battle's lessons remain painfully relevant today. Gettysburg's story is ultimately about human cost. It warns against romanticizing conflict and violence. Memory preserves what violence attempts to erase. Gettysburg ensures sacrifice is never forgotten. The land stands witness to courage and loss. History breathes through Gettysburg's fields and hills. The battle defines America's struggle for identity. Gettysburg reminds us freedom is never free. Its legacy demands reflection, not celebration. Gettysburg endures as America's moral crossroads. It asks what kind of nation should emerge. The answer was forged through immense suffering. Gettysburg shaped the soul of a nation. The cost paid there still echoes. Memory transforms sacrifice into meaning. Gettysburg remains America's turning point. It is history written in blood and resolve. The battlefield speaks across generations. Gettysburg teaches responsibility alongside remembrance. Its silence holds powerful lessons. The past warns the present through Gettysburg. Unity was preserved at unimaginable cost. Gettysburg's legacy is caution, not glory. The nation survived because soldiers endured. History turned during those 3 days. Gettysburg forever changed America's direction. The battle's meaning transcends time. It stands as proof of consequence. Gettysburg reminds humanity of war's reality. The fields remain, The lessons endure. Sacrifice shaped the future there. Gettysburg defines the price of division. The battle remains etched into national memory. History listens at Gettysburg. The past speaks if remembered. Gettysburg stands as America's turning point forever.